Alrighty, let's get started. Welcome everyone to the Western Association for College Admissions Counseling College Fair. We're so excited to have you participating in this event. We have some fantastic schools here with us today. My name is Chelsea and I will be your facilitator. Before we get started, a few housekeeping items. Your camera and microphone are off so the panelists cannot see or hear you. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. This is one of many sessions happening, so be sure to check out the schedule on the website. The presentation is being recorded and will be available at strivescan.com/WACAC. I'd now like to turn it over to our first presenter, and that's going to be York University.
Just give me 5 seconds to share my screen. Just making sure. I believe the only university from Canada here tonight. So the first thing I want to talk about is why you should consider Canada. Because it's strange that we're in Westminster, don't consider us like that. That's friends and we do this. We're international, we're right next door. And thinking of Canadian universities is that they're all high quality. They are funded by the government. They have to take very high quality in order to get that funding. So Canada, it's not so much finding a good school as opposed to finding the best fit for yourself. So that's the approach that all the universities take as well. Is helping you find the exact place where you will be happy on as many levels as possible. Not just your program, but also life-rounded, the social aspects, the size, the city, the location, and everything. Canada is incredibly with universal healthcare, multiculturalism is the fabric of Canada. Also international students working in Canada, without needing to work, and we have paid co-ops through a degree, and then we also have this for our after you get here now work here.
Hi, Ruby. I'm so sorry. The audio is breaking up a little bit. Can you try like muting yourself and then coming back on? Try that.
Is that any better?
Much better. Thank you so much.
Okay, sorry about that. If anybody missed anything I just said, Canada is good, just to sum it up, to think about universities. Then once you've decided that Canada is the place, then you kind of want to look for the kind of place you want to live. Toronto is the biggest city in Canada at 4 million people. 50% of the people in Toronto are from other countries, so it's an incredibly multicultural experience. It's a very urban center, but there are green spaces throughout. It is an active city with anything you could possibly imagine, any interest, any cultural activities, concerts, theater, etc. Now, York has multiple campuses in Toronto, 2 that are currently operating, 1 that's coming. One, the Glendon campus is much smaller. So if you like that intimate feel of a campus, but yet still in a big city, that would be Glendon. There's about 4,000 students. Then there's Keele campus, which has about 45,000 students. So that's sort of the big university experience. They're within 20 minutes of each other. There's a free shuttle that travels every day, all day between the 2, so you can access all the facilities. There are many facts about all the universities you're going to see today. We have over 10,000 international students, and not only does that mean that your friend pool is going to be from all over the world, but your education is going to be exponentially higher, because in your classes about politics or religion or accounting or policies, you're going to get perspectives from all over the world in every class discussion, which is incredibly important. There are tons of opportunities for exchange, co-ops, internships, like I mentioned before, and scholarships. Let me just here's some general facts, learn more about the university in your life. There are over 300 social clubs. There are insanely great athletic facilities. You're guaranteed residence for the first year as an international student. We're one of the most comprehensive universities in North America. We offer everything from dance to theater to film to space engineering, environmental studies, nursing, education, law. The most important part about this, I feel, is that students often think they have to give up a passion for something else, but this school, you can keep everything. You can keep your philosophy, and then you can take dance, or you can take business, but then also take environmental studies, which creates very unique degrees and also very unique futures and careers that you excel at, because they appeal to all the things you're interested in. These are the general requirements for US students. So take a quick peek at that. A lot of our information is on our website, so you don't have to remember everything. I just wanted you to have a look. Right now, SATs, ACTs are not needed, so that's not a stress. It's really about your grades over your high school career. The higher, obviously, the better. Some programs require higher averages than others, so it's important to check this early. And then also there's scholarship opportunities, which are here. I'm happy to report that we've added a bunch of new scholarships for next fall that will continue on indefinitely. They're renewable, which means that you can get it the first year and then get it second, third, and fourth if you maintain your averages. And then there are also some automatic scholarships that are just based on your transcript. We also have a lot of social supports, which I think is very important, especially for first-year international students, because not only is it going to be overwhelming being in college for the first time, but you're also going to be away from your family and your friends in a different country. I mean, Canada is not that different, but it is still a culture shock. And it's really good to have a lot of social supports to help you during that time. We are going to have a virtual campus day coming up. So if you want to learn more, see different faculties talk about their specific departments, this is a great day to do it. We also have info sessions all the time virtually every week if you want to see a full hour-long presentation about anything we have. This is my contact information. Please approach me with any questions. It is literally our job to help you. Don't be shy about it. This is a big decision on your part. So ask anything you need to be asked. There is no question that's too small or irrelevant if it matters to you in helping you make your decision. So thank you for listening to me. And I think I'm right on 6 minutes. So I will turn it over to the next person.
Thanks so much. All right, next up, we have the University of Westminster.
Hello, good afternoon or good evening from London. I have to admit that I'm struggling a little bit this evening, but hopefully everything I say will make sense because of the time difference. So my name's Jane and I work in the international team here at the University of Westminster, and I support students joining us from the Americas. So you'll get my contact details throughout the session. This is just an introduction. You're welcome to get in touch with me as well. It's, as Ruby said, really good idea. Follow up with questions. We don't expect you to remember everything from this very short overview presentation. But to give you a quick idea about who we are, the University of Westminster was established in the 1800s to teach Londoners professional skills, and that's still very much what we focus on today. So we're considered a modern university in the UK. We were one of the first polytechnics in Europe. But we're nearly just well over 180 years old now, and our focus is very much on applied subject areas. Many of our teaching staff come from industry, maybe working in their field at the same time as teaching, so the teaching environment is maybe a little bit different, and as you're looking at your studies and looking at options and considering programs and destinations, you also want to think about what the right learning environment for you is. That will really vary. So Westminster's right in the heart of central London. We have 4 sites, so we have buildings across the city, and we have about 20,000 students, so it's an average size for a UK university, really international, more than 165 different nationalities, and often consistently ranked one of the most diverse universities in the UK and in Europe, reflecting London really. So that's just where we are, really accessible for you, whether or not it's for coming and going from home or onward visits. Lots of our students enjoy visiting the rest of the UK, visiting Europe while they're studying with us, and of course really enjoying London because you've got all of that on your doorstep. So this is just a map which you may not, this is sort of central London, central West London, and central London's actually really small if you're not familiar with it. So we have, as I mentioned, those 4 sites, so very much in the heart of central West London. We have our original building at Oxford Circus, which is the main shopping area of London, right next to the BBC building. Then our business school and architecture school are opposite to Baker Street Station, which you might know from Sherlock Holmes, or Madame Tussauds, Regent's Park is opposite there. We have our sciences campus and all these campuses are about a 15-minute walk, so you can actually, it's easily accessible, but you don't need to travel between the different sites for your subjects. And then we have, next to Wembley Stadium, we have our digital creative industries faculty. So depending on what subject you're studying at Westminster, you'd be at one of these sites, but welcome to use the facilities. Obviously, they're great, fantastic locations. We've got a cinema, we've got sports grounds, we've got accommodation. So, you know, you'll be really making the most of London while you're with us. So I think I've mentioned most of these already, but as I say, this is a really short overview, so do take a look at our website. But these are our campuses, and you'll see they're all really different. So it's also really good if you're looking at Westminster, have a think about the subject areas, and have a look at our website at the course subjects. But we do computing, very popular in this faculty, things like psychology, and biotech, biosciences. This is our original Regent Street building. International relations is very popular here, as is our law school, School of Law. We're really well located as well for all the professional bodies when you're thinking about your future career and options. This is our business school and architecture school. We've got a sports management degree and a digital marketing degree, both quite new, that are proving very, very popular. And we're hoping to get lots more interest from US students on those. And then you've got our Harrow campus, the one that's the digital creative industries. We're really well known for film, fashion, TV. We have a lot of fantastic alumni. We have accommodation, so even though you're in London, you don't need to worry. We have self-catered accommodation, which is common in the UK. You have your own room, your own bathroom, and then you share a kitchen. That's just some of our alumni, but we'll skip through. And entry requirements, a lot more information on our website, but yeah, just a guide. We are still accepting this year's students with high school where possible, where you haven't been able to take other exams. We will try and consider you, but we would normally ask in addition for APs or SATs. But happy to talk to more about that and answer individual questions. And another thing to keep in mind is that undergraduate programs are 3 years, prices of $14,500, so about $19,000 per year, and that's for 3 years, so you're saving that year. But we've got a lot more information about costs and affordability of London. If you want to know about that and that's a concern, we can hopefully answer your queries and show that it could be an affordable option for you. And we do accept federal aid as well. You've got my email contact there, and you've also got the date for our next open day. So if you'd like to find out about any of the subjects, answer some questions, speak to current students, please do register, and otherwise very happy to take any questions individually. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right. The next up is University of Roehampton.
Thanks so much, Chelsea. And thanks for joining us tonight, guys. I'm losing my voice, so hopefully you can hear me okay. But I'm going to pull this up here. Whoops, that's our schedule for tonight. Thanks so much for joining us, guys. I'm going to try not to repeat too much because my colleague Jane has covered a lot of London, which is where we're based as well. So I am Amanda Lundberg. I'm an international officer with the University of Roehampton, London. As you can hear, I am not in the UK. I'm not from the UK, but I did live there for 12 years. And I love being able to share with you why you should attend a school in London and why you should attend Roehampton. So we're considered London's campus university because we do have a single campus in Southwest London. We're situated on a beautiful 54-acre parkland setting, and we've been providing education for about 180 years as well. So there's going to be a lot of similarities, I think, between our friends at Westminster. One of the unique things about Roehampton is we were the first college of higher education in the UK to admit women, which we're really proud of. We've been re-ranked as the best modern university in London, and we're one of the top 10 universities there as well. All right, so we've got a very diverse student population on campus with over 12,000 students, of whom 28% are from outside of the UK and represent around 146 countries. So lots of diversity on campus. We're also ranked 5th amongst London universities for student satisfaction, which is of course really important to us. And something to note here, just as you glance at that photo of our new library, we're very much a research-led school. We are #1 modern university in London for quality of research, but also known for being the most research-intensive modern university within the UK. So we're really proud of the academics that we have, and many of our subjects are seen as having world-class standard research. So another beautiful map of London. You get to see lots of London tonight, which is great. So you can see our proximity here. We're just down the River Thames in the southwest corner of London, really close to Wimbledon. We've got Richmond Park in our back garden, which is the largest of the royal parks. And if you've seen Ted Lasso, that's where that is based. Also, just to kind of note here, public transportation is fantastic in London. So you'll be able to easily get into central London, in and out, by using all the tubes and trains and buses, but we also have a free university bus that will take you up into central as well. And this is a little snapshot of our campus. So you can see the campus is really lush and green, especially being on the parkland setting. And with the proximity to London, you really do get the best of both worlds, having that city life as well as the kind of serene, quiet nature aspect as well. Our university is comprised of 4 historic colleges. We do like to compare ourselves to Harry Potter in that way, only because our colleges do compete in an annual college cup and they do play Quidditch against each other. So that's really fun, something to look forward to. But the colleges provide just a fantastic community within the community at Roehampton. So as my colleague Jane has mentioned, our degrees in the UK, or within England specifically, are 3 years long. So you could have 2 in the time it takes you to get 1 here in the US, which is fantastic. And there's no general education requirements. So if you're someone who knows what you want to do, it's a great place to come and study, because we do very much have specialized focus degrees. These are the programs we're running for the next year. You can see several are going to be brand new for next September entry, which we're really excited about, offering a bunch of new programs. And then requirements are going to vary a little bit from program to program, but we're generally going to be looking at your transcript, looking at your GPA, any relevant classes you've taken. We are completely test optional and have been since before the pandemic, so we're glad to keep offering that going forward. And then if you're a dance student, we'll require an audition. If you're someone who's looking to go to community college first, we do accept transfer students as well. And then applying is going to be super simple. So you can either apply directly onto our website for free, or you can apply through UCAS, which is kind of like the Common App. You can apply to 5 different schools with 1 application in the UK. We have no hard deadlines. So that's what the rolling admissions is. It means that you can apply and you'll have a decision within a couple of weeks typically. And then we'll keep accepting applications until courses fill up. So you have lots of time to apply for those. And you can also apply to start in either January or September. So in terms of overall costs, we've already seen that it can be very affordable to study in the UK, especially with 3-year bachelor's programs. This gives you kind of an idea of what the costs are and a list of some of our scholarships. The main one to note here is our merit-based scholarship. This is one that you don't have to apply for. You're going to be automatically assessed for that. And it is dependent on your GPA. So the higher your GPA, the more money that you're going to get. And then accommodation is guaranteed for all international students, especially for US students. We know that you don't want to be looking for accommodation in a country that you may have never been to before. So we do help you out with that. And we do offer different rooms for different students. So all of our first years typically live together. If you're a continuing student, you live together, postgraduates, mature students, etc. But as Jane mentioned, all of the housing across the UK is typically single ensuite bedrooms or single occupancy bedrooms. Some are en suite, some are semi-suite, where you share a bathroom with a couple of other students, but all have shared kitchens, which is great. So self-catering. We do have a meal plan on campus if you don't like cooking. And of course, there's plenty of restaurants and pubs nearby as well. So we've got lots going on campus, as I'm sure you probably expect. And this is just a few of the things you can look forward to coming to study with us. But the main thing to note here is just the ethos at Roehampton is based on social justice, and we're really proud of promoting that across every aspect of college life. This is a quick little snapshot, since my time is rounding up here, of the sports you can get involved with. One of these being our new study play program with Crystal Palace. Is a professional football club in England, and we have partnered with them so that if you do want to play soccer, you can train with them while you're getting your degree with us. And then I'll leave you on this final page. Hopefully you can screenshot it since there's so many QR codes, but that'll take you to the various aspects of student life. So you can chat with students, you can see our USA page, all of this great stuff. But please do get in touch if you have any questions at all, and I'll put my information in the chat. But for now, good luck with your college search.
Thank you so much. Okay, next up we have the University of Edinburgh.
Hi, everybody. My name is Hilary Sementina, and I am the Regional Admissions Representative for the University of Edinburgh in Scotland. So you've heard from a couple London universities, so we'll be moving up north into the UK to Scotland, and Edinburgh is Scotland's capital city. As the capital, it has everything that you would expect of a capital city: museums, theaters, cinema, nightlife, etc. But it's a relatively small city with just about 500,000 people. And there are 4 universities in Edinburgh, but the University of Edinburgh is the largest. So it's a very student-friendly city. It's compact and walkable. You don't need a car to get around. Most people will walk, ride their bike, take the bus. So it's a great place to explore on foot, and you don't really have to worry about transportation around the city. We are one of Scotland's ancient universities, founded in 1583, and we're currently ranked 16th in the world. We are a large research-based institution. About 85% of our academic staff are actively involved in research across multiple subject areas, and this directly influences our undergraduate and our postgraduate teaching. As Scotland's largest university, we're very open and welcoming to students from across the globe. We have about 45,000 students in total, and about 25,000 of those are undergraduates. In total, about 41% of our student population is international, meaning they come from outside of the United Kingdom. And we're very proud of the fact that we are the #1 destination in the UK for US and Canadian students. So we have many societies and events on campus that celebrate and support our diverse community. Our staff population is also very international, with 1/3 of our staff coming from outside of the UK. So you really will get an international education if you study at the University of Edinburgh. The university is divided into 3 colleges, but that's not to say we're a collegiate system like Oxford or Cambridge. It's just how we divide our academic disciplines. So the largest is our College of Arts, Humanities, and Social Sciences. This is where you'll find subjects such as English literature, philosophy, history, law, business, our languages, etc. Then we have the College of Science and Engineering, where you can find subjects like informatics or computer science, physics, chemistry, engineering, math, biological sciences, amongst others. And finally, our College of Medicine and Veterinary Medicine, where our medical and vet students study. So as a large university, you'd expect us to have many degree programs to choose from. We have about 390 undergraduate degrees, so hopefully we offer something that you're interested in. And our academic year is divided into 2 semesters. Semester 1 runs from September until December, and semester 2 is from January until May, and you take your exams at the end of each semester. So undergraduate education is slightly different in Scotland than in the rest of the UK. You'll have heard from my London colleagues that degrees there are 3 years in length. Well, in Scotland, typically an undergraduate degree will be 4 years in length, and the Scottish system actually directly influenced the North American undergraduate system. So our 4-year programs mean that you have flexibility and choice in the subjects that you study in your first 2 years. So even though you're studying politics, in your first 2 years, you'll take compulsory politics courses, but you'll also get to take classes in other subjects from across the university that you're interested in. So you could take a business class, a math class, and maybe French, for example. Once you get into your 3rd year, that's where you really specialize and focus in on your major, on your degree. So you'll study politics solidly. You won't take outside courses anymore. However, within politics, you will get to take a variety of politic type classes. And many of our degree programs, actually most of them, allow students to go abroad during their 3rd year. So studying at Edinburgh, you already will be an international student studying overseas, but you could go abroad again, maybe Australia, China, Europe. You could even return to the United States if you wanted to. And in your fourth year, your studies culminate with a dissertation or research project that's guided by an academic member of staff. But no matter what you study, we really encourage you to do independent, self-guided thinking. And importantly, our degrees are internationally recognized. So getting a degree at Edinburgh or in Scotland or the rest of the UK is equivalent to getting an undergraduate bachelor's degree in the United States. Obviously, your academics are important, but so is life outside the classroom. In September, we have Welcome Week, the week before classes begin, which is full of orientation and welcome events for new students. At Edinburgh, we have 290 sports groups, student groups, which I believe is more than any other UK institution. And we have university housing for students. We have about 9,000 residential rooms that cover a range of budgets and preferences. And importantly, international undergraduates are guaranteed university housing in their first year. And there are also support services on campus that you can use, like the counseling center, the career service, health center, etc. So now that you've heard all this and you think, great, I'm definitely applying to Edinburgh, we encourage applications from well-qualified applicants. Like my colleagues already stated, you apply through UCAS, which is like the UK's version of the Common App. For our US applicants, we typically at Edinburgh look for standardized tests like AP, SAT, and ACT tests. If you weren't able to take these because of the pandemic, then you can get in touch with us and we can go over your specific requirements. And then finally, to learn more about the university, you can scan this QR code, also chat online to our current students to get their perspective on studying at Edinburgh. You can take a great virtual visit of the campus, because I know it's quite far to travel to Edinburgh, and get in touch with us at futurestudents.ed.ac.uk, and I'll put that information in the chat as well. Thank you very much, and I'll pass it on to the next university.
Thanks so much. All right, next up, we have the University of East London.
Hi, everyone. We are going to travel back to London. My name is Caitlin Banania, and I am the Americas Recruitment Officer here at the University of East London. As you can tell by my accent, I am not British, I am American. So I did graduate from UEL, and I now work for the university. So before I discuss studying at UEL, studying in London, I first want to talk about London. So this quote says, "When a man is tired of London, he is tired of life." And I love this quote because I think it captures the beauty and the essence of London. I've lived here for 4 years now, and I still haven't done everything that there is to do here. And I don't think there are that many places in the world that can offer you that. I moved to London when I was 18 years old, on my own, without my parents, brand new country. And I basically had to learn how to be an adult in London, and it's been nothing short of amazing. And I will always love London for that reason. So this is a photo of our Docklands campus. We've got 3 campuses in East London. I love our location because we are set in the suburbs. So lots of trees, lots of green spaces. We're also located right on the river. If you see the circle in the middle of the photo, that is actually a tube station. So we are very well connected to the rest of the city. And I love that because I think we get the best of both worlds. So we are in London, but we're in the suburbs. So we're not in the hustle and bustle of central London or what Americans would call downtown. You won't see any tourists on campus. So it really feels like you're living in London and not just visiting London. So here I've listed the reasons why I chose to study at UEL. They're very similar to other London universities. Obviously, the biggest being you can finish your degree in 3 years instead of 4. UEL is one of the largest international universities in the UK. So we've got about 17,000 students, 20% of which are international students. So international students do make up a large amount of our students on campus, ranked first in the UK for international support and visa advice. So what that means is from the point of you submitting your application to UEL up until you actually arrive in London, there will be a dedicated recruitment officer myself who will be guiding you throughout the process. And it's the same exact process that I went through as a student. So if you've got any questions about the general admissions process, how to apply for a visa, what it's like being an American moving to London, I've got you and your parents covered. We're one of the only universities in London to offer on-campus accommodation, which I'll talk a little more about in the next few slides. And we do accept FAFSA loans. We have 6 schools within the University of East London. You can find all of our courses on our website, but I've listed some of our biggest programs in each of the schools. For American students, our biggest programs are business management, psychology, and biomedical science. So you can think of biomedical science as the equivalent of pre-med. We just don't call it pre-med in England. So here I've listed a photo of UEL accommodation on the left-hand side versus what the typical American dorm looks like. I absolutely love talking about accommodation because I loved living on campus. I loved that I had my own room. So all of our rooms on campus are private and en suite, meaning you get your own room and your own bathroom. You just share the common living spaces such as the kitchen and the living room, and you will only share with 3, 4, or 5 other students max. Meal plans are not compulsory, so you do get your own kitchen, so you're more than welcome to buy your own groceries, cook your own meals. And I think the highlight of it all, there were so many great things about living on campus. I mean, living right on the river, it's like one of the best places to watch the sunset. But all of my, American friends who stayed home for college, they all did the whole college roommate experience. And I'll never know what that was like because I had my own room. And I think it's perfect if you like to be social, but you also like to have your own space as well. Here I've given an overview of UEL versus studying at a typical college in America. So it's free to apply to UEL. You've literally got nothing to lose. You can apply for free on the Common App. We do rolling admission. So what that means is we aim to send you your decision within 4 to 6 weeks after you submit your application. The deadline to apply is the end of July. However, because it's rolling admission, it really works in your favor to apply sooner rather than later, because the sooner you apply, the sooner you receive your decision. The duration is 3 years in length. Tuition for the first year is just under $20,000 US. This covers the cost of textbooks. So for the entire degree, you're paying less than $60,000 US, whereas in America, the average price tag is right around 100,000 and it goes up from there. If you have any questions at all about, studying in London, how to apply, what it's like being an American in London, please do feel free to reach out to me and my team. I'm going to hand things back over to my colleague, Chelsea. Thank you, Chelsea.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. All right. And we have the University of Dundee.
Thank you. Let me just share my slides. Hopefully it works properly. Excellent. I'm not in presenter mode. It's just full screen, right, Chelsea?
It is presenter mode.
All right. Okay. I will swap that around. We good?
Yep.
Oh, excellent. Thank you very much. Okay, so I'm Joe McKinney from the University of Dundee. As you can probably tell from my accent, it's a bit funny. I'm from Scotland, and Dundee is based in Scotland, and I will show you a map in a second. Thankfully for me, Hillary is definitely covered a lot of the information that I'm away to cover, and my other colleagues as well. From London, I've also come up with some stuff as well. So apologies if I cover similar information as before. But I like to sort of start this talk talking about why Scotland, talk a little bit about the flexible degree structure, which Hillary again mentioned, and then jump into why Dundee. So Scotland itself obviously is a very beautiful country. This was taken by my friend a couple months ago at the south sort of Cairngorm, so only about an hour away from Dundee. We have loads of things going on in Scotland, especially for students, and we welcome many international students every single year. We're very friendly people, or so we like to think. Yeah, you always sort of get stopped in the street and people start chatting to you, and it's always a good time. But one of the best things about studying in Scotland is the flexible degree structure. And I thought I would go over that. So again, as I said, Hillary's went over it and it's excellent, but I thought I could put it into picture form for you. So as was alluded to before, Scotland has that sort of standard 4-year degree structure, and with that becomes the flexible degree structure. And I like to think of it as the perfect blend between sort of the US and England, and we have it right in the middle where we're not as sort of prescribed as England, but we're not as sort of general ed as the US. So you generally apply for 1 or 2 subjects, but you'll end up taking 3 for your first 2 years. Then after your second year, you choose 1 or 2 of those subjects, and that can be any one of those subjects that you've taken from your first year. And that, again, it can be a mix of different subjects. So for example, I did a maths degree and I graduated with a maths degree, but one of my friends started on maths and then graduated with English. Very opposite degrees or subjects you'd think, but that's definitely a possibility. Now moving on to Dundee. So Dundee is a small city just north of Edinburgh by about 1 hour. I'll show you a map in a second. We're quite a small city, so we have about 150,000 people that live here, but we are very student focused. So we have over 20,000 students that live in the city. So a lot of the things that happen here are for students. And as I say, it's a great time. So here's a wee map. So this is a map of the UK, and as you can see there, we're sort of in the northern part of that, where Scotland is, and then we're just that red little pinpoint there, just north of Edinburgh by an hour. You can easily make it here, and most students fly into Edinburgh Airport or Glasgow and make their way up to Dundee, or a lot of students fly into London, and then they can get a direct flight to Dundee, and you can walk from the Dundee Airport straight to the campus, which is pretty crazy. Dundee is a city that not many people may know. Obviously, it's not in Australia because we get Crocodile Dundee quite a lot, but just some little facts about Dundee that you may not have known before, and a lot of these sort of inventions were from Dundee, but also associated with the university, so that's great. So things like aspirin, like a pill that a lot of people take every day, things like ATM machines, the crazy game Grand Theft Auto, believe it or not, was first developed in Dundee, and obviously the screen that you're looking off of probably right now will have LCD technology in it, and again, the beginnings of that was discovered in Dundee. Here's a list of all the different schools that we have at the university. You can take subjects across these schools, and they do fit into that flexible degree structure. If you do want a bit more information about specific subjects, then just scan a QR code. I think we're all a bit QR code mad, and you will see in my presentation that I have a couple as well. Most popular subjects being humanities-based subjects for our US students. And another one is forensic anthropology, so like CSI stuff, and people like cutting up dead bodies and figuring out who they were before they died. It's quite a cool subject. This is our campus. We are a campus-based university. We're about 5 minutes walk away from the city centre of Dundee, and everything that you need is on this campus. It looks massive, but it's really not. It's quite a small campus. You can get from one end to the other in about 10 minutes. We have about 17,000 students in total, but at any one time we have around about 15,000 students. That makes us a medium-sized university for the UK. And again, everything that you need is on campus. You have your accommodation, you've got sports facilities, you've got professors' offices, everything is there. Accommodation, I know it's been extensively covered by a lot of the other reps here, but as an international student, you will be guaranteed accommodation in Dundee from the university, and it is on campus. This includes bills and things and super fast Wi-Fi, which I'm really missing, working from home, of course. But you get a single room ensuite as well. When I was at university, not Dundee, another one in Scotland, I had to share a bathroom with 5 other guys. So as you can imagine, there were some scenes there, especially after a good night out. So having your own bathroom and your own room is excellent. In terms of entry requirements, we're very similar to a lot of the other universities here. We require a general GPA of about 3.0 for most of our courses, and we were test optional last year, and we're test optional this year, and will more than likely be test optional for the foreseeable future. But we are super flexible, so if you do have any sort of particular requirements or you're not quite sure how that fits, then I'm more than happy to help with that. Just one quick thing to mention is that we have a range of different scholarships, and these are our two main ones: Global Excellence and Global Citizenship Scholarship, and I'm more than happy to go over them if you want any more information. And as I said, QR code MAD. So here's a QR code that takes you to a website with my information on it. So I'm the International Officer for the Americas at Dundee. And yeah, please feel free to get in touch with me about anything. Love it. Thank you.
Thank you. Awesome. All right. So at this point in the session, I'm going to ask all of the presenters to jump back on. We're going to hear from each of you one more time. And questions. All right, it looks like everybody's on. Thank you so much. All right, so we're going to ask one quick question here. What advice would you give someone going through the search process? And we'll start with York University.
I advise this all the time, and I'm not sure if any student has ever actually done it, but I will say it again because I think it's a great idea. Because it can be overwhelming, like when you're listening to all these sessions and going to fairs, it might be nice if you created a graph, and on the side of the graph list any university session that you go to or anyone you talk to. And then across the top, list everything that matters to you. It could be very obvious things like program or cost or location, but then it can also be things like, are there athletic facilities that I like, or is there a social club that I want, or is it near the ocean, or like, it can be anything. And then as you're talking to each one, just put little check marks into all the things that that school satisfies. Then when you take a step back later, it's very clear very quickly who satisfies the most of those interests or needs. And because it can get very confusing very quick trying to remember everything. And you can keep adding things to that list of requirements as well. Anything, it can be anything. But that might be a way to very quickly visually see what you're learning after you've talked to a bunch of schools.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I love that idea. Westminster, what advice do you have?
I think that's a great idea too, and it is really confusing. So the other thing to remember is, keep asking lots of questions, use all the opportunities there are, get in touch with students, alumni, get in touch with all of us, find out whatever you'd like to know, and yeah, think about what would be right for you and what you want, not just what you think is, where maybe the best place to study, where your friends are going, where your family have suggested. Think about, keep your options open and use all of these opportunities.
Absolutely. Thank you. All right, Roehampton, what is your advice?
Yeah, I would kind of piggyback off of what Jane said and say to get in touch with us, because everyone on this panel either is in the country we represent or has lived there. So we are here as a huge resource for you to ask questions. We can connect you with people on campus. We can connect you with current American students and give you our own experience as well as the students that we work with. So yeah, that would be my best advice, would be get in touch with us, use us as a resource.
Absolutely, thank you. Edinburgh, what is yours?
I would say when doing your college research to take statistics with a grain of salt. Every university loves statistics and numbers, especially, and we will always publish our most favorable numbers. So it's just a number though, they change every year. So really look at the university and the city and the subjects that they offer. And rather than just, oh, this one's the best ranked in my subject, or this one has the most this and that, numbers aren't everything. So try to get a feel for the university and the location as a whole, rather than just focusing on the stats.
Thank you. East London, what is your advice? Oh, I believe you're muted.
Sorry about that. So the one piece of advice that I would give to someone who is considering studying overseas, this is actually something I did. So when I was applying to universities, I didn't tell anyone that I was applying to schools in London. And by doing that, I don't think anyone was able to sway my decision. So I was really happy that I came to the decision on my own. And looking back, I'm just really glad that I did that. So that's definitely something I would recommend to anyone considering studying overseas.
Thank you. And Dundee, what is your advice?
It was always tough going last. But yeah, and I guess everyone, I think I've been on this with everyone else before as well, and I say the same thing every time. But like I always say, research, 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 and it sort of encompasses everything that everyone else has said already. One big thing I would say is that, yeah, like utilize us, but also like speak to like your peers, parents, whatever. Obviously, as Caitlin said, don't let them sway you too much. But I definitely would say if you get the chance, visit these amazing places, especially like if you go to London, you can sort of bash them all out in a couple of days. If you come up to Scotland, you can bash our unis out in a couple of days, and you'll just get a good feel for the place and whether you'll fit into the sort of the area and the university and location, exactly like Hilary says.
Awesome. Thank you. Alrighty. And that just about concludes our session. So I'd like to send a huge, huge thank you to our presenters for your time and all the information you've provided us this evening. And thank you to our participants for being with us. When you close this window, there will be a link to a very quick survey. We appreciate any feedback you can provide. We encourage you to check back to the schedule and sign up for more sessions if you're interested. And you will be able to find this session's recording as well as the other recordings at strivescan.com/WACAC. All right, and that will bring us to a close. Thank you so much again and have a wonderful night.